Good afternoon, and it's time for another vocabulary lesson. This is the list of words that come from the literature of the Civil War. We've divided the list in half, so we're going from acclivity to intimation. And out of these 5 words, there is one here that's associated with the profession of being a blacksmith. It's the word that we use to denote the iron block on which metal is shaped, and that, of course, would be the anvil. And I'm actually going to change that one word and make this an iron block instead. The next term here is one that is often associated with hiking or moving. You can talk about something that's an upward slope being an acclivity. You know, the steep acclivity was daunting for the beginning hikers. So an acclivity is an upward slope, something that would be difficult to climb. The next word comes from the Greek gods, and it's the god that's related to wind. And so when we talk about something that is aeolian, it is marked by a musical tone that is produced by the wind. We had a word recently in civil disobedience where Henry David Thoreau was saying that he did not advocate no government, but at once a better government. Therefore, you could say he was not an advocate of anarchy, which is an absence of government, of lawlessness. Or having no government. Anarchy. And then lastly, you probably all heard the verb adorn. Her paintings adorned the walls of the room, meaning to enhance, or to make more attractive, or to decorate. Okay. Okay, if you're going to issue a statement or a remark, for example, all's fair in love and war, you might say that you are using a dictum, a statement or well-known remark. Okay, perhaps you've heard of, oops, hang on. I noticed something. This word should be aspirating. My mistake, not aspiration. Aspirating. And if you have to aspirate a wound or if you have to aspirate someone, that's breathing into the lungs. Spira, spirit, right? Aspirate, it's breathing into the lungs. If you have to get a growth aspirated, you have to puncture it and kind of get to the inside of it. If you're talking about agreeing with someone, the act of agreeing, we had to get my mother's assent. That would be to agree. We needed my parental assent, the assent or the agreement of my parents, right? The act of agreeing. And then lastly, the two up top, one of them you could say is to, she arrayed herself in velvets, rich velvets and satin, meaning to dress or to place into position. In the Canterbury Tales, we hear about the Oxford cleric, who's the student who liked to have beside his bed 20 books arrayed in black or red, of Aristotle and his philosophy, then robes or fiddle or jocund psaltery, to place in a position. And then I'm not sure if you've ever heard the word ardent before, but if you're an ardent supporter of the Philadelphia Eagles, that might mean that you are a very strong fan. You are ardent, you are zealous, you are enthusiastic, supportive, all those things that we would associate with someone who shows great excitement and enthusiasm for something or someone. I think of the 5 words on this list, I think almost everybody has to know what emancipation is. Even if you're unsure, you've heard of the Emancipation Proclamation, which had so much to do with changing the course of the goals of the Civil War. But to emancipate, or emancipation, is the act of liberating, the act of freeing someone. If you have a remark that is rude or off topic, someone could say that your remarks are impertinent. At times it seems that Brinker Hadley has impertinent remarks from time to time. So 2 different meanings. It could mean rude or insolent, or it can simply mean tangential, which means off topic, divergent. Anybody who's gone fishing probably knows that you can look in the water to notice whether or not the water is showing signs of eddying. The eddies are the circular movement of water. And sometimes when there is a circular movement of water, you know that there are fish lurking beneath the surface. The rules of proper behavior are the rules of etiquette. There are certain rules that you always want to follow, like not keeping your elbows on the table and not talking with your mouth full. These are rules of decorum and behavior. And if you've ever heard of hallow ground, or to make the ground hallow, it is to make it holy, to make it sacred. Our last 3 terms are printed above, and if you're going to give an intimation that about the ending of the story, you're giving a little hint. You're giving a little clue. Like the word impertinent, which meant insolent or rude or off topic, impudent is also along the same lines a bit. It's failing to show respect or restraint. It's boldness. It's not being prudent, if you remember the word prudent. So failing to act with restraint. Being impudent. And then our last word here, ineffable. This would be an expression you would use when something is so beautiful or so powerful or so great that you just can't capture it in words. So we will say too beautiful, or I'm just sliding it down here for room's sake, or great to be described. And there you have it. That's the first set of words from the vocabulary for the Civil War. Thank you.